happy to be here. Feeling really grateful to be at my first Anarchapulco. As you can see, Venezuela, Bitcoin's last stand. That's the theme of this talk. And you also see a bill for 100 bolivares, 100 bolivares, which I got one right here. One of our team members was in Caracas last week. And if you look at the denominations of the bolivar, you have 100, is towards the top, up to 500. It takes 6 of the highest note, think like 6 $100 bills to buy a beer. So this resort's wonderful. Maybe it's a little bit slow when you're ordering a beer, but you still get it. You can pay with cash or credit card. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. The Bitcoin.com podcast network, it's focused on adoption. Why is that important to today's talk? Well, we believe that if cryptocurrencies are going to be successful, people have to use cryptocurrencies. And all of our shows, 3 in English, 1 in Spanish, are aimed at beginners to experts alike. I also manage Bitcoin.com in Latin America. I lived in Venezuela's neighboring country, Colombia, for 8.5, 9 years, where I started a produce company, which I still run today. So I got a feel for how things work down there, which helps in what we're doing. And so we have a couple ideas, big ideas in this talk. First being that cryptocurrencies have to be used as cash. You guys know my boss, he says it all the time, and we firmly believe that at Bitcoin.com. Investment and speculation is great, but without it using the currency, it can be very difficult to make the dent politically or apolitically, depending how you want to look at it, and help the developing world or bank the unbanked. And I think everyone's heard the bank the unbanked term, and there's a lot of talk. Maybe the most lavish Bitcoin conferences, like in Miami, the North American Bitcoin Conference, they're like, I made $1 million pre-tax. But I want to change the world. It's all about the developing world. And Bitcoin's been around since 2009. It's been 10 years. So, and especially in the bear market, which is always very humbling, I think it's time to make an impact in the developing world. Our next thesis is that the developing world will adopt cryptocurrencies before the developed world. Zimbabwe before England. Venezuela before the United States. And if you look at local Bitcoin statistics, that's backed up. I think in free market competition, the US dollar, no matter the way we feel about it, it works pretty good in the United States. PayPal, Venmo, things like that. And the competition from the Venezuelan bolivar doesn't really exist. It should be easy for cryptocurrencies with time and a lot of love and a lot of education to come on and make some change. So what's going on in Venezuela? Well, hyperinflation. I think everyone has heard about this and is aware of this. You bought $1 million worth of Venezuela's currency in 2013 when Nicolas Maduro, the current president, came into office. It would be worth less than 10 cents today. That's from December 2018. There's been, hyperinflation has just increased. So you wouldn't have anything. And if you bought it when Hugo Chavez came in, it would be worth, less than a penny. So it's not a store value. It can't be used. If you have some people on our team in Caracas, let's say they get $20 in a month. Minimum wage is $4. So if you're getting 5x minimum wage, you can't just change, let's say, $20 into bolivares once and then shop throughout the month. You have to change every couple of days a couple dollars, or else you're not going to be able to have the purchasing power that you would have with a quote-unquote normal currency. There's a broken payment system. So what was very interesting is Ignacio, who works with us at Bitcoin.com, he's down there, to buy a round of beers. A beer is about $1 there. Most people have $2 limits on their credit card, like max out $2. If you're a whale, if you're a baller, maybe you'd have a $30 for a credit limit, but still you can't buy an iPad, you can't buy a Kindle, you can't buy a couple bottles of rum, you can't do it. And you'll see on some of these slides, there's a lot of entrepreneurs here, so I put asterisks on the bullet points that I think are great business opportunities, not just in Venezuela, but other developing countries, so look for them throughout the talk. Point of sale machines, just scan your credit card. The terminals to pay. There's no Square app there. They're hard to find, and if you can find them, they might cost $300 to $400. So if you're trying to open a small business, that's prohibitive in cost. And the banks are almost bankrupt. This is public information. I can send it to you if you're interested, but the banks are running out of money, and there's going to be no bailout. This is not 2008 in the United States. So, yeah, the financial system is broken. I think that's pretty clear. And then migration, refugees, people leaving Venezuela. According to the UN, over 3 million people have left Venezuela. And remittance payments, for those that don't know what it means, is just people sending money back to their families. This increases every year. We'll talk about this in a couple slides, but this is obviously, it's being used right now, and a huge opportunity for cryptocurrencies for remittance payments, right? Western Union, things like that. So what type of money do we need? It's got to be fast and cheap. Without getting too into the cryptocurrency wormhole, some cryptocurrencies might take 20 or 30 cents for transaction fees, which is fine if you're buying a car, but when a meal costs $1, 20 cents or 30 cents is too high. It's got to be less than a cent. So you need a cryptocurrency that's fast and cheap. It's got to be borderless. You have Venezuelans leaving every day, and there can't be any controls. You can't go through the traditional banking system, KYC, AML. It's just not going to work. It has to be censorship resistant, and you have to have full ownership, meaning that you have to own your private keys in cryptocurrency, for those that are familiar with Bitcoin. And if you have a bank account, it can be frozen. This has happened. So if you own your private keys, you can go anywhere. Which is why we think cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin Cash, and many other cryptos, like Zcash as well. So that's how we determine what we think is the best money. So we started a merchant adoption campaign in Venezuela. This is our first store that we signed up last week. Coochie cakes, cupcakes, and other pastries. If you're down there, check it out and pay with Bitcoin Cash. We have it all integrated into the Bitcoin.com wallet, where there's a map, meaning that if you're in Venezuela, you can see prices relative to the bolivar or the dollar, however you want to see it, or any currency in the world, and if you have currency in the world. And there's a map, stores near me, just like on Google Maps. We are also indirectly affiliated with Eat Bitcoin Cash, and this is Jose, a really remarkable young man. He's only like 23 or 24. Can't say his last name for obvious reasons. He has to protect his identity. But Eat Bitcoin Cash is pretty simple. We take Bitcoin Cash donations, or I should say he takes Bitcoin Cash donations from all around the world. And he triangulates payments, meaning there's people in 6 different states. They don't have to carry money, meaning that the people working at Bitcoin Cash as volunteers, they don't have to carry money in their pocket. They can't be robbed because Jose has all the money in his wallet, and when they find a supplier that has rice or beans or any types of supplies, things to cook food, Jose sends the payment to the person in the other state, and this person then releases the food, which is great, so it's secure. Over 50,000 meals served. They just celebrated their 1-year anniversary. Here's for Jose. He really inspires me. And a lot of people at Bitcoin.com and the cryptocurrency world. Also, when looking at the developing world, there's a lot of countries, Zimbabwe that have, Nigeria that have had a lot of growth, but I think Venezuela's at the top in terms of local Bitcoin's growth. It's grown in every quarter. It depends exactly on the rates, but sometimes surpasses the US in volume, but definitely relative to the size of the economy, it's thousands of times bigger than the United States, local Bitcoins, which tends to be less speculative and more for commerce use because of the spot prices. So things are happening, but to be fair, most people still don't spend cryptocurrency in Venezuela. There's been other efforts from other cryptocurrencies, and we got a long way to go. So what's the biggest problem here? What is the biggest problem, or also the biggest opportunity? It's education. Cryptocurrencies are still pretty difficult to use. I think, I was that guy in my family to my grandma showing her how to use the internet and AOL and et cetera, et cetera. It's not easy to use, and the same thing has happened kind of peer-to-peer education, person to person, with cryptocurrencies. And so with our merchant adoption campaign, we have Telegram groups, we have WhatsApp groups to educate merchants, how do I cash out into dollars, bolivares, Bitcoin, whatever they want to do, we want to support them because we do understand that it would just be a vanity metric to have 500 stores accepting Bitcoin Cash and no one spending it. Remittance payments are huge, and that's our next phase. There's Venezuelans everywhere, in Mexico, Miami, Europe, a lot in Colombia, teaching them how to use Bitcoin Cash so they can send money. So if we have money coming in cryptocurrency and people spending it, then it's a chance to flip the system. Not just a quick change into crypto in, crypto out. Another is, and the last speaker did a great job about this, is the misinformation and propaganda. It's blah, 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 terrorism, money laundering, et cetera, et cetera. And that's going to be an ongoing challenge for, I think, everyone in this room for the coming years. So the central thesis is the following. You can develop all you want, you can preach Bitcoin all you want, but if it doesn't work in Venezuela, it's not going to work anywhere. So, consider this presentation open source. I hope there's thousands of campaigns like the one Bitcoin.com is doing, because we're going to need that to get cryptocurrency adoption in Venezuela. So yeah, go to Venezuela.bitcoin.com to get involved. Follow me on Twitter or email me, Matt, M-A-T-T, at bitcoin.com. And yeah, I hope you learned a little bit about what's going on in Venezuela and came away with some ideas about how you can maybe help as well. And thank you very much. And we're also going to open up to, if anyone has any questions. So, should I hand the microphone? Or?
Yep, we're going to have to get a microphone. I'm not sure if it's on. Check, 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 check. Got it. Where was that hand? Take this one here.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. I work with merchants in Latin America, and the primary problem I run into with getting crypto adoption is the volatility of the price, because merchants have to pay for things like food. So how do you propose to address that, or what is the answer?
That's a great question. So in terms of payments, the volatility of cryptocurrency, at least in Venezuela, is very stable compared to the Bolivar. I will say that a lot of people think about using stablecoins. I'm a little bit worried because the stablecoins are tied to the dollar, which is deceptively unstable, but very stable compared to cryptocurrencies. I still think in Venezuela, even if you lose 10% in a week, considering, if you send PayPal into Venezuela, they charge up to 90%, credit card transaction fees, if you can do it, like we talked about, it's hard to do, we up to 6%. So I think for now, dealing with the volatility and handling, maybe the 10% loss, but also 10% gains, is imperfect, but best strategy for now.
I have a foundation. I'm currently trying to send aid to a contact person I have in Venezuela to buy food and medicine and keep people from dying in the street, which they're doing. And my question would be, how could I have my Venezuelan friend, what would be the most efficient way for him to plug into your system, get educated, and be able to use it?
Sure, so there is a Telegram group. I recommend Telegram. I can come visit us, everyone should come visit our Bitcoin.com booth. Gotta put the plug in there. We have golden tickets, win up to $500 Bitcoin Cash, but come have a conversation, and we can add any Venezuelans into the Telegram group, or they can go to Venezuela.bitcoin.com. We have a guide there just to learn about Bitcoin. But yeah, please email me, and anyone that wants to get involved, we'll put them into the Telegram group where people that are very knowledgeable, that work with us or just affiliated with us, how they use it for remittance payments, or whatever they want to do.
Any other questions? There we go.
Have the government tried...
Wait a second. Wait, can I have a microphone? On the record, pal.
Hi. Have the government tried to ban any of the cryptos or take any action against it?
Yeah. So one thing I didn't mention is there is an exchange called AirTM, and they're going to do an airdrop of Bitcoin Cash, mostly Bitcoin Cash, a little bit of Zcash to 100,000 Venezuelans on May 27th, which is why we have all these merchants set up. So hey, you can spend this as Bitcoin Cash. They were actually blocked. Their website's been blocked. They have like 3 or 4 different websites. Don't tell them what to do, but they have 3 or 4 different websites to give people access. But centralized exchanges like Coinbase are so important for the cryptocurrency community. But that's why I say you have to own your keys, because the Venezuelan government, there's a bill right now to censor the internet and like controlling which websites you go to. So that is a risk, and there is a bill that's in Congress right now. I don't have the details on it. That's trying to tax remittance in cryptocurrencies, but it's going to be a battle for sure with the government. But I don't know if they're equipped to stop it because of the sophistication of this technology.
If you have a question, raise your hand, please. Great, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Anarchapulco, it's so hype, I'm trying to tell ya. This the event of the year and best vacation ever. Ron Potter, Jeffrey Tucker, just to name a few. Get your tickets, you don't wanna miss it. You should roll through, talking politics to health and self-improvement to investing. So many things, not one thing. Learn how to live life unchained, yeah. 4 days vibing on the beach, time to connect. All about growth, way more than a conference. This is Anarchapulco, yeah. Let's go.
You ain't seen nothing yet.